Skin trees. I'm going to die after this is posted. It won't be immediately after, though. It'll take a few hours or days for the seed inside of me to grow, so I have time to write. I live in an old, wooden, one-story home ever since I was born. I wouldn't really call it a house, though. More so an extremely large shack with several rooms that has power and plumbing. It's located in the very outskirts of civilization, a bridge between humanity and the forest beyond. I was never scared of the forest, although I couldn't look at it for a minute or two without the feeling of it looking back at me. Living near the forest is rough. I've had animals break down my back door and windows and constantly destroy my pantry and fridge. It's come to the point where I spend most of my time setting up snares and traps, sensors and cameras, as well as investing in a small caliber gun in case any of them decide to break into my bedroom while I'm trying to sleep. I'm not a hunter. I find killing animals to be cruel and unsavory, but morals are out of the question when they start eating your goddamn Twinkies. My parents were hunters, though. They always wanted me to get into the sport ever since I was 7. I hated it. I live alone, now. My parents went missing on my graduation, which was 20 years ago. I haven't seen them since. Anyways, this all started yesterday when I found all of my snares had been activated. Mouse traps, bear traps, bunny snares, all had been activated but had apparently caught nothing. This didn't line up with my sensors, which were going crazy and basically saying a whole herd of animals ran past, but that didn't line up with my cameras, which caught nothing. The cameras were old and would occasionally blink or show nothing for a frame or two. The only thing they captured were the traps seemingly activating from nothing. I went to my backyard to look at the forest, and the same feeling washed over me, except it came sooner and felt far more realer than anything I've felt before. I put on some clothes that were on my couch and got into my car and drove into town that day. I was needing of some major upgrades. That night, I had barred my windows and doors with steel and doubled the amount of snares, traps and cameras I had. I also dug a small trench around my backyard and put wooden spikes in it. All my food, and my entire fridge, I put into my bedroom, which, not only did I bar, I also barricaded with my closet. Besides the bathroom and my parents' bedroom, which I refused to go into, my bedroom is the only room with only one way in and out. And, as a last resort, a double-barrel shotgun. I had taken a 5-hour energy drink and used my laptop to switch from camera to camera. Grasping my shotgun, I found that nothing interesting was happening. No random snares were activating, neither were any of the sensors. My cameras weren't even blinking. They don't blink at all. When my cameras showed nothing for a frame, that was something passing it, and the thing would just barely dodge a trap. Whatever was triggering my sensors or snares weren't outside, it was already in the house. Just as this realization came to me, I heard my closet door open. I turned around to shoot, but all it did was make the monster slash my right shoulder instead of my chest. It struck again and stabbed me in my lower abdomen with its left claw and used its right claw to hold down my right arm, which was holding my shotgun. I looked at its face, the cracked skull of a deer, and it looked back at mine. After staring through the black holes of its eyes for a small while, I lay my head back in defeat. The thing, seeing my defeated expression, relented. Painfully, it grabbed my right leg and dragged me towards the barred window leading to the forest. Almost casually, he bends the metal bar and breaks through the glass, jumping over first, then grabbing me to pull me through. I looked at my bedroom for one last time. My shotgun was still in there. As we descended into the forest, a horrifying sight surrounded me. The bark around the trees gradually turned to human skin, and where the holes of a tree would be, are replaced with eyes. Some were crying, some were red, some looked happy and some looked angry. But, no matter what expression they were giving, they were staring at us either way. We continued in, the eyes still staring at us, until we arrived at a spot where a tree would be, but isn't. The thing looks down and grabs a small acorn from the ground. Then, turns around to face me. I flinched when it turned. It went down on all fours, leveled its head with mine and, slowly, put the acorn in my stab wound, I whimpered, and it whispered, "You're a failure to your parents. Where they will spend the rest of their days as animals, you shall spend yours giving birth to a new lineage." He grabbed both of my legs and was about to drag me to a small hole. But, whatever strength I had left, I used it to whisper a weak, "Hey." The being stopped and looked at me for a few seconds. I then said, a little louder, and with my handgun raised to its face, "Fuck your lineage." As I began unloading my entire clip at its face, it screamed and dropped me to hold on to its breaking head. The trees were looking at the thing with shock and horror, whilst some were looking at me with anger or disgust. Suddenly, an inhuman amount of adrenaline surged through me as I got up and threw myself in the general direction I knew my house was in. It didn't chase after me. If it did, I wouldn't be typing this. By the time my adrenaline wore off, and the pain beginning to settle in once more, I was lying down on my bed, covered in bandages. My clothes and skin were torn as it dragged me across the forest floor. I'd call the police, but I know it would get to me faster than them. I don't think it's coming for me. It wouldn't matter if it did. I'm too weak to set up defenses or drive out of here. No, it fulfilled its purpose. The seed has been growing inside me, using me as food. I can feel its roots tearing through my ribcage.